Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Heart Centered Therapist podcast. I'm Cindy Gozansky, and we have an incredible show lined up for you today. I can't wait for you to meet my guest. And today we're actually going to be talking about marketing for therapists. And this is really, really important. I know from experience, from mistakes, and from the powerful impact that marketing can have on our practices. So, please welcome Shayah Reed. Shayah is the owner of VirtuWell Balance, a woman-owned and operated design and marketing agency helping practitioners grow their revenue and increase their impact through organic marketing and intentional design. Shayah has scaled VirtuWell Balance from a one-woman show to a team of 6 and worked with over 350 clients across Canada and the US, including many therapists. Shayah is also a yoga teacher with a passion for mental health and holistic wellness. She loves inspiring others to actively create a life and business they love. Welcome, Shayah.
Thank you. I always feel so funny when people read my bio and I just sit and listen to it.
I
Thank you,
do that
Cindy.
you're welcome. You're welcome. I do that intentionally because I think we don't
Yeah,
get to hear feedback about ourselves and the
it's nice.
it's nice and to receive it and to kind of be reminded of the cumulative experience that you have.
Absolutely. We need to take time to, recognize how far we've come and appreciate all the small wins that we go through. And I think in entrepreneurship, that's something that's overlooked a lot. But
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be here today talking about marketing. Yeah, we do work with a lot of therapists in my business and VirtuWell Balance, and I realize that marketing is something that a lot of therapists really struggle with and have a hard time with. So we also work with, like other types of mental health practitioners and chiropractors and spas and other types of businesses in the wellness industry. But yeah, I noticed that marketing is really a struggle for many different types of therapists and mental health practitioners.
Yes. And so you've named your business so appropriately too for that holistic wellness space. So for listeners out there, if you want to check out her website, it's VirtuWell, VirtuWell balance.com. Yeah. So even before we start, we were just chatting and you mentioned like your business has allowed you to have more wellness in your life. Tell us about where you're coming from right
Yes,
now as we meet.
absolutely. And like in that sense, my business has everything, has supported me in creating the lifestyle that I love and especially the remote aspect of it because we do work fully remote. So I've been traveling for the past few years now. My husband also works remotely, has a remote business. So we've traveled through quite a few countries. I am originally from Ontario, a small town, St. Thomas in Canada, but I'm currently recording this podcast with you from Guatemala.
Sounds beautiful. Yeah. As somebody in the Northeast, I wish I were down there.
Yes, I think the weather will be starting to improve soon for you guys.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So Shayah, one of the things I always ask my guests at the beginning is, what does being heart-centered mean to you?
Hmm. I think I mean, I don't want to use the word centered because you're asking that in the question, but being centered and grounded in your values and what's important to you, your core values, and being able to act in alignment with that. And that's in your personal life and in your business, even on the inside, your own mental health. Um, and one of the ways I feel like, what we're talking about today really aligns with the mission of your podcast, like cultivating connection and a sense of community. And that's something that I really like to teach through marketing efforts
Mhm.
because marketing doesn't have to be, salesy and feel bad and hard and like pushy. It can come from a place of, wanting to help and trying to help and being heart centered.
Mhm. That is such a fabulous answer. And it's so relevant to our conversation because I think most of us as helpers want to serve and help our clients and we're leading from the heart. And often we don't think that what represents us, whether it's a website or Psychology Today profile or something else online, could be social media, like we're not always sure that's in alignment with our values. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is why I really welcome our conversation and getting to learn from you, just in general. Like we're going to be talking about how we can leverage our website, why it's important to have a website, why it's important to have branding. I don't even know where we should start with this. So I'm going to toss that over
Sure.
to you.
Sure. Yeah, of course. So, I mean, like at VirtuWell Balance, we're really passionate about guiding therapists and ensuring that, each brand, website, and organic marketing strategy is in harmony with their practices, missions, and goals and values. And your design and marketing efforts really are an extension of your practice, whether you're virtual, physical, and it's an extension of your philosophy and what you want people to feel when they interact with your brand and your business, right? So, what we're going to go over today is going to help kind of bring that all together for you guys and at least give you a starting point. So, if you don't even have a website yet or a content marketing strategy, this information will be really helpful for you. And if you do already have those things in place, then this information will be a good point for you to kind of look at the things that you're doing and see where you can start to make some improvements to bring things more in alignment.
Okay, that's amazing. I'm so excited to get some practical tips about this, but let's start with the very beginning about the the content, the website, the branding.
Yes. So I would say if you're looking to, really leverage your website, your branding, and your content marketing strategy to um, use it as a tool to help more people. I mean, that's really what it is, right? Because when your marketing is supporting you and your business, it's reaching more people and helping you help more people. And so a couple of the things that we usually start with is we look at branding and photography. So even before you start working on having a website, you should figure out your branding. And now you can either hire a professional brand designer to do your branding for you, or you can attempt to DIY something using Canva. I'm sure maybe many of you are familiar with Canva. There's lots of platforms online where you can, pick some different typographies, create a color palette, maybe even DIY like a little logo
Mhm.
and just have those things set. So you want to have maybe 1 to 2 fonts, like a heading font and then a paragraph font, making sure they're both easily legible. Sometimes, the super scripty fonts or the
Right.
really bold fonts can be hard to read. Um, and then 1 or 2 logos, like 1 or 2 different versions of your logo, and then 3 to 5 colors. And you want to use these consistently, the logos, the colors, the fonts, um, across your website, any like business cards, flyers, your social media. You want to be consistent with this because consistency builds up recognition, builds up trust, and people subconsciously are more likely to um, buy and work with businesses that they trust and they see consistency with.
Mhm.
So that's the important piece with branding. And with the colors, you do want to try to choose complementary colors, and maybe like one contrasting color to use on your website for like buttons to have like your calls to action and little button pieces like to stand out a little
Yeah.
bit better. You want like a contrasting color. But that's pretty much the basics of what you need for branding.
Okay. And that's really helpful. I know a lot of people out there have used Canva. Maybe you already have your own brand's palette in there, but it's a really good idea to just go back and look. Are the two primary fonts you use clear,
Mm-hmm.
easy to read? In fact, surprisingly, I am just in the well, let me start this again. In fact, I am actually in the process of rebranding the podcast logo for this
Ooh.
show because of getting that very same advice. We don't want something too busy. We don't want something scripty. And so we're going with block lettering. It's going to be very simple, um, but I'm all about that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
again so that the person who looks on their phone and sees the logo can be instantly engaged and know what it is that I'm
Mm-hmm.
offering.
Absolutely. That's exciting. Good for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Um, so if somebody is trying to pick colors, let's say, I guess this is one of those things where a therapist may want to convey the spirit or essence of who they are, their values, as you said, being aligned with their values, and also who they serve. So, for
Hmm.
instance, if they are a child therapy practice, I imagine the colors could be different than if they're serving mostly men or
Hmm.
if they're serving older adults. Could you speak to
Yeah.
that a little bit with like maybe an example?
Yeah, exactly. So I think having a niche is really important here, like niching down and knowing who your ideal client is. And we do a lot of work with this with our clients in our branding package. So typically when someone's like DIYing their own branding, they don't usually have a lot of this like built into the idea behind their brand. They sometimes just pick colors that they like or colors
Hmm.
that they're like their favorite colors or something. You know, they build a brand that they like, opposed to something that's going to attract their ideal type of clients and resonate with their ideal type of clients. So that is a lot of the work we do in our branding packages with clients. And I mean, even you mentioned like children, for example. If you are a child therapist, you have to think about still who are you attracting? Like, yes, you're working with children, but you're attracting the parents. The parents are the ones coming to you. They're actually your ideal client, even though you're working with the child. So maybe you don't want to use like bright yellows and pinks and blues because the kids like those colors. Maybe you want to use different colors that those parents would be attracted to. So
Yes.
that's just one example of something that we would consider when choosing colors.
That's such a great example, right? Because you're really speaking to maybe the moms out there and, which type of mom are you trying to attract? And so there's so much psychology in marketing, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's so interesting, like the psychology of sales. I always think, man, therapists should be the best at sales
You know
because you guys
why?
they have the mental understanding of like the brain and psychology and how it works, but it's always a struggle.
It's a struggle because we are very relational. That's so great. We can
Mm,
be really good at sales when we remember that we're relational and we do relationships all day, but we still
yes.
have such a block, most of us, about sales, about marketing.
Hmm.
So tell us about photos. Let's do that next.
Okay, yes.
Photography.
So with photography, I think when you're getting professional photography done and you want to have photos of you or your team or the office on your website, you should keep your branding in mind because your branding is going to be present across your website, and you don't want to have colors in your like in your photos that are clashing with the branding colors on your website. So we've had people before, have a go to have a photo shoot done and wear like a bright red shirt, and then the colors on their website like don't really match that with their branding. So we always say just keep your branding colors in mind when you're getting photography done. And also in the very beginning, when you're just starting your business, you're just maybe starting your private practice and you want to invest in a website and you want to invest in branding and photography, maybe it's a lot. So
Mhm.
when it comes to photography, we've actually had quite a few clients, use their smartphone these days, have good cameras on them. If you know someone who understands like best practices of photography, they can just like get some nice photos with you with your phone these days. If you have some nice lighting, you can dress up nice, maybe have some pictures of you in your office or outside. Even that works fine. So don't let the pressure of like having to hire a professional photographer like hold you back from, getting photos for your website.
Yeah, that's really an important kind of generous point because we want to just be able to take that action and get started and have that representation of our practice and our business. We are entrepreneurs if you're in private practice or, running your own practice. And so it's important to be able to take that action and start somewhere, right? And so you really give so
Hmm.
much permission to your clients to say, okay, you can start with some great phone pictures first and then
Hmm.
change it as you go along.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've had clients in all different stages of business who are just starting out or who are running very successful, large multi-location clinics and practices, and your budgets are very different, right? But we
Mhm.
still recognize the need and the benefits of having a website and a consistent content marketing strategy, with which we can get into in a bit, but I feel like that all starts with your website. And so I want to make having a website accessible for everyone. So we have all different types of packages, different types of pricing that can be flexible with, if you do you want us to do the branding? Do you want to do your own DIY branding? How are you going to do your photography? Hire someone, do it yourself. So we have lots of ways that we can, make it happen and make it accessible for people.
Oh, that's fantastic. So there's combination packages of whether it's done for you or a little bit of both. Yeah. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
why is it so important that therapists have their own website with their own domain? What is so important about that?
So the one of the main pieces here is your SEO, your search engine optimization, and how you're coming up in Google search. And it's really competitive these days just to be on social media. I'm
Hmm.
sure we all know that. Even myself as a website designer, if I'm just competing with website designing, like other website designers on Instagram, there's so many, right?
Right.
And so the benefit of being on Google is that not everybody is still doing it. So if you're on social media and you have a website and you're investing in these long-term marketing strategies, it's just going to boost you ahead of everybody else that much further. So
Yes.
starting with your own domain, your own website, and then we use that. Well, we can, like I mentioned, we'll get into this further down, I think, but we use that as a content marketing strategy and repurpose the content we're sharing, in our blogs, in our newsletters, in social media. Because one of the things we do here is like, oh, now I have to write blog posts and I have to do email newsletters and I have to do social media posts, and I have to see clients and take notes and all these things.
Oh
How do
my
we do it
goodness.
all?
Are you inside my head? This is part of the anxiety every day.
Yeah, and
How
so
do
we
we get
tell
help
them
with this, right? There's so many moving parts.
we like to repurpose content as much as we can. So if you have a website that's optimized for SEO, it is displaying your expertise, your experience. It lets people get to know you on a deeper level, more than just what they can on social media. We have some blog posts on there. Um, what we do with the blogs is we try to tell people to post at least once a month, write a nice blog post once a month. But then from that, you should get like 6 or 7 pieces of social media content that you can take little pieces of your blog post and repurpose it to social media. Maybe you make a reel out of it or a story on Instagram. And then at the end of the month, you're going to send out a newsletter to your email list. And you're going to also share content from the blog, content from social media. You're going to repurpose everything. So it's not like you have to create content for all these different places. We try to encourage our clients to start with their content marketing strategy on the blog and use your website as a content hub. And the more that you're active on your website, the more Google is going to boost you up because Google loves active websites.
Okay. And so then that becomes part of the SEO and part of bringing you closer to the top on a Google search.
Right. Yeah. I see a lot of therapists who actually share really good information on Instagram or on LinkedIn, for example. And then I go look at their website and their website's dead. It looks like they haven't touched it in years. And I'm like, why are you putting all this effort into social media on a platform that you don't own, you don't have control over, you don't have control over the algorithm, right? And if any of these platforms shut down, you lose that audience, right? So at least if you're starting with the content on your website, you own the website, you own the content, you own the audience, because when people opt into your email list, you own those content, those contacts, and they're not gonna go anywhere. Like email is not going to shut down. I would assume Facebook or Instagram was shut down before the world of email does.
Right. Well, and Shaya, this is such a good point. I think it was only maybe 2 weeks ago that Facebook was down for a day or Meta was
Oh
down for a
yes,
day,
you're
right?
right.
And
Mhm.
some people, posted about that. This is why you need an email list. This is why you need to have your own domain to have your own content. And I'm as guilty as the person you're talking about because I tend to post more substantive information on social media than any of my
Yes.
websites. And so just turning the tables and starting from the website as your content builder, content base,
Hmm.
that
And then
makes a lot of
repurpose
sense.
repurpose from there and use the content elsewhere from there. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And so a simple example, like let's make this very rudimentary. Say you want to write a blog about um, you know, uh 4 ways for women to improve their self-esteem. And you write a
Hmm.
blog about that, then you have at least four social media um content posts that you
Mm-hmm.
can make for each of those four ways. You can also you can make a generalized content piece about women experiencing low self-esteem or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So already we're thinking
Exactly.
like at least five things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know what,
And
yeah.
that's a really great example. And in those other pieces of content that you're talking about, you can say like, if you want to read more, visit my blog. And then you're always directing traffic back to your website as well. So then again, Google recognizes, oh, you're posting content frequently on your website and it's bringing in traffic. We're going to boost up this website in search results because people find it interesting, people like it. And then when people start to search for your name, your services, different types of things that you offer in your city, your website is going to pop up above others.
That's right. And so two things really come up for me here. One, we know that even I'm in a small city area like Portland, Maine, very small, but we still
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of psychology today pages, right? Multiple pages. So the market feels kind of saturated. Imagine, New York City or Los Angeles. I can't even imagine the saturation of something like that. So this really speaks to the importance of having your own um, domain to redirect
Mm-hmm.
people to, because you
Yeah.
can't always compete with 30 pages on Psychology Today.
Yeah, and if you look at those 30 pages on Psychology Today, how many of those people are actually active in practice? How many of them are using social media? And then how many of them actually have a website? And if they do have a website, how many of them have an SEO optimized website with a content strategy on it like a blog and collecting emails for a newsletter? They're probably not doing all of these things. So all of those additional pieces that you do is what's
Mhm.
going to help you be found more and set you apart from all the other practitioners on there.
Right. So that you can help more people, right? So that you can be
Exactly.
aligned and also attract your ideal clients. Um, and Shaya and I were talking before we started also because this has been very curious for me. A lot of us use the EHR Simple Practice, and I'm not endorsing it or anything, but they offer a website, like a one-page website. And I was curious what she thought about that. And we realized that um, you can't really have a blog on there. You don't really own the domain. So, like,
Hmm.
speak a little to like the drawbacks of that kind of website
Hmm.
versus creating your own website.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just not very customizable or flexible to um, move people through the website the way you want them to. It doesn't have as many capabilities in terms of SEO. So we also do on-page optimizations for all of our clients in terms of SEO and like gear the content towards it a little bit. So I don't think it seems like it doesn't have as many functionalities that we can optimize for SEO. And then it seems like it makes you follow a certain layout. So it's very templated. So it's not very
Correct.
customized in terms of the design and the layout. I think that like if I were to show you like 5 different websites that we've designed recently, they would all look totally different, different vibe, style, color, different feel, because
Hmm.
they're attracting different people and they're offering different things and have different types of practitioners working in the business. And that's the important piece here, right? Is like
Yeah.
aligning your approach with your unique way of healing. And I think that some of these templated platforms, maybe they're an okay place to start. Like I said, if you can't afford right now to invest in website design and maybe you DIY your logo and stuff like that, and you're waiting to work with clients to save up money in your private practice, you can do this for now. I think that's fine, but eventually you will want to up level and have a better strategy in place for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would love to invite you into my Facebook group of therapists, the Heart Centered Therapist Community on Facebook sometime to do a demo and show us
Oh,
by
sure.
video some of these different websites, because I think that would be really inspiring for all of us to see that and, maybe start to give some people ideas about what they want to put out there. Remember,
Yeah.
for you listening as a therapist, right? You are trying to position yourself as the expert or the person that could help somebody who's looking for what you offer. And so that's why this is so important. And that's why when you can add a blog and add some other content pieces, your newsletter, your social media, that starts to give you that expert positioning. I don't mean expert in the sense of a power dynamic therapist client. I mean in
Right.
terms of what you offer as a trained psychotherapist. And so, maybe you
Mhm.
start with a one-page website that your EHR provides, and then down the road you want to add the blog. And so that's a really great way to get started. And then, like Shayah is saying, explore what else is out there.
Yeah, the blog is also a great idea for, a lot of practitioners and people in the holistic wellness space also have like a big story and a big journey to share. Oftentimes we've came through our own transformational journey in terms of health or mental health, and that's why we got into this field. And sometimes I find when we're helping our clients write the content for their website, they almost want to like overshare, or not overshare, but like speak too much about their own journey without bringing it back to their clients and like how it relates to their business and how they help people and their passion and their mission. So we really try to tie that all together as well. And sometimes it's hard to just do that in a bio or like on a little about page. So the blog is also a great place for that, where you can go more in depth about your own experiences and your story and your journey and share more there, which is a wonderful way for people to get to know you and relate to you. And again, you can still repurpose this content they use on social media as well.
Oh, I love that. Wow, you're a wealth of information here. That's really exciting. Um, yes. And so right now, I guess we're kind of talking about this organic content strategy. Is that correct? Like, I think sometimes we
Yeah.
hear these fancy marketing terms, organic content strategy, and I just want to make sure like we understand what it entails. So is that the
Hmm.
idea of the organic, like creative pulse of your content and then is then repurposed? It's on social media, it's on a newsletter, it's on your blog, it's on the website. Is that what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's an organic content marketing strategy because we're marketing with content, and it's organic because it's not a paid ad. So there's ads, there's paid ads marketing, and there's organic marketing. So organic is basically when you're not paying a platform to boost you up. So we
Okay.
help our clients get boosted up in Google organically without paying for ads. So by having this consistent content, by having SEO optimized pages, and then another piece to our content strategy, if you want to go even further, that we help therapists with, is doing like an SEO focused blog strategy. So on the blog, sometimes therapists say like they struggle with what to write about. And so we have some ideas like, you can write about your types of therapy you offer, types of specialties, your story, your journey, and your experience, like we just discussed. You can also go through some like FAQs, like what are the most commonly or frequently asked questions that people ask you in your practice. That those would make good blog posts as well because people are curious about it. But then we also have this strategy we've been doing where the SEO specialist on my team actually goes in depth and does like SEO research into a topic, a service, an industry in a particular area to see what people are searching for on Google. And then we create a blog strategy based on that. So we're specifically writing blog posts about what people are searching for as it relates to your service and your industry in your area. So then you're even way more likely to come up in search results, opposed to just writing about what you think, people are looking for.
Wow, that is amazing.
If
That is
that makes sense.
It does. It makes sense. I want to know like some of these examples, but I mean, I could just imagine if somebody is offering, say, a certain type of trauma therapy, for instance, then your SEO specialist would look into what type of questions are people asking out
That
there.
people are typing into Google.
Hmm.
Yeah. And this type of content still is great for social media as well. So if you're wondering if SEO researched blog posts are still good to repurpose on social media, of course they are, because the same type of people who are searching for things on Google they're also using social media. So if they're looking for something on Google and then they see your post, whether it's on your blog or comes up on Google or on Instagram, it's still gonna feel in alignment with them to check out, right?
Right, right.
Um, but we do have a freebie that I would love to share with your audience on this as well. It's called
Amazing.
our therapist content kit. So maybe you can link this for them in the show notes or share with your audience. But It's a really great freebie that we've put together, and we've had a lot of good feedback on it from some therapists. And basically what we did is we compiled, was it 6 or 8? I forget, we'd have to check there. Blog post outlines that were SEO researched. So these are
Wow.
a little bit more broad. They're based in Canada and the US. So it's just North America. But we
Hmm.
did like, what are people searching for in North America in Google as it relates to, and we picked like a few different types of therapy services or topics. And we put everything in this for you guys to take, repurpose, use on your own blogs. And I also give you my tips and strategies in there for like how to repurpose the content for different platforms too. So if you want to grab that and just take a peek at it, I think it would probably be helpful to give you a little head start.
Oh my goodness, that is such an amazing gift. I can't wait to check it out. We'll
Yes,
definitely
you'll have
link to
to.
that, yeah, in the show notes. And I don't know if people can find it on the website as well if they just are checking it out, but we'll have it in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in the footer. I think if you scroll down to our website, in the bottom of the footer, we have a little freebies section and it says therapy content kit. So it's there as well.
therapy content kit. Check it out. I want to also highlight something because we have a lot of listeners who are already successful, their practices are booked. And I think oftentimes maybe they think, well, why do I need a marketing strategy? Like what would be the point of doing extra work or, building up my website or blogs? And one of my thoughts, and I'd love your input on this, is sometimes it also creates that platform because we don't know what we might want to do 10 years from now. And so let's say
Hmm.
some therapist wants to write a book or they want to do something else. They have created then even more of, maybe platform isn't the right word, but more of like they've built up content so that they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like this presence.
It it helps to like position you as an authority or an expert in the field. Absolutely. And I think it is good to take a look at, your goals and your mission and where you want to go in business, and like also define what is enough for you. Enough in terms of how much income you need to make, enough in terms of how many clients you want to see. And if those are things that, maybe you're okay with right now, but in the future you'll want to increase it or grow a team. You're gonna, especially if you have a team, we always have people coming to us when they're starting to grow a team or growing their team more and realizing like now they need to put in more marketing. But if you were doing the marketing from the very beginning, then by the time you're ready to start a team, it's already like that platform and authority is already started to be built up for you, right?
Yes, absolutely. And even it could be, let's say you want to um, expand into offering retreats for other therapists. You still want to have that platform and expert authority of why they would want to go to your retreat. So,
Hmm.
there's just so many ways you can look at this and see the opportunities that it presents for you. Or if you, um, yeah, I
Yeah,
just think it's,
and retreats are a great thing you mentioned as well, that we've seen quite a bit starting to come up. And I think this really emerged after COVID. Everyone like really was craving on going on retreats and trips. But
yeah,
during this time of building content in a blog and having a newsletter, even if you're not taking on new clients at the time, it's still building up a community and connections and connecting with people and building those relationships. And that's what sales is really all about. And so at one time in the future, if you do decide to launch a new offer or a different type of service or a retreat, or like even at like just like a day retreat or a workshop, you can send out an email to your newsletter and let all these people know who are on your email list. And it's likely that they're going to want to join or attend because you've continued nurturing them all this time, whether or not they were even a client of yours, right? So it's
right.
really it is a long-term um, relationship building strategy, really.
Yes, absolutely. And we are relational. And again, this can be for clients or it could also be therapist facing if you're interested in, like Shayah was saying, doing offers for therapists down the road as well, or workshops. It's
Mhm.
it's all really important. So I guess we're kind of talking about the mindset shift that you're trying to help therapists make by changing and really focusing on their marketing and sales.
Yeah, I think this is really a big piece of it as well, because of course we have the practical pieces like SEO, blogging, email marketing, content marketing, building your website, the design, branding, photography, all these things that go into this. But also, like I said, I've noticed, especially with therapists, they have a difficult time marketing and selling. And I think this does just come down to a mindset shift and changing your perspective, because you are helping people and you're doing a really great thing and a really great service. And if you would think that if you just do more marketing, you would be able to help so many more people. Like if you think of it like that, and it doesn't have to be like marketing and selling is not bad. And it really just comes down to the energy and the intention, I think, that you bring to it. And I feel like the reason why traditional marketing tactics don't feel good to therapists and mental health practitioners, people in the wellness space, is because those traditional tactics sometimes are a little pushy and like, last chance, last chance kind of terminology when you're trying to sell things like join now. And that doesn't feel very heart-centered to us. And I think if you are not in alignment with the type of marketing strategy that you are sharing, people will feel that and it's not going to work. So if you are coming at this from a more mindful, conscious, and intentional way of selling and just wanting to help people, I think that's going to come across if that's your intention behind it. And that's what I'd like
Mhm.
to help really support our clients with and our community, because we also have a weekly newsletter. It used to be monthly. We just ramped it up to weekly because we had such good feedback on it. But it's called the Mindful Marketer, and it's a
Mm.
once a week email newsletter we send out every Monday, just sharing like up to date, relevant, actionable, like holistic health marketing tips and advice and techniques for the mindful marketer, someone who finds it more difficult to sell because of that, that heart centeredness. So we're trying to put a shift in the industry here to make marketing more mindful.
Oh, I love that. And that's so key because often it feels like some of those more old-fashioned sales techniques, like they don't give the consumer permission, right? They're just like telling them what
Hmm.
to do, too directive, and therapists aren't usually that way. So I love that we're trying to,
Exactly.
yeah, right. And
Hmm.
so we're trying to find that more heart-centered alignment. I love that you use that language. Where can people also sign up for this Mindful Marketer newsletter? That sounds amazing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we'll give you the Mindful Marketer newsletter. We have a landing page for it, so we can give you that for
Okay.
the show notes, and same with the therapy content kit if people are interested. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. This has been so filled with a wealth of information and
I
knowledge, and
hope I
I'm
hope not too
excited.
much, not too
Well,
much
that's
information.
okay. You know what? I think it's okay if it's a little much because it just shows we have so many avenues that we can go to expand and continue growing as the type of helper we want to be. And so I find that it's very exciting. Also, I really acknowledge and want to thank you, Shaya, for working with mental health professionals and wellness professionals because I I think everyone can tell you get us and you really are coming from a place of wanting to help the helpers serve more. And so just a huge thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do think that, the health and wellness practitioners are like the unsung heroes of the world, helping our people and our communities to live better and happy and healthier. So they need support.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for supporting us. So, therapists hopefully will hear a little of your message that we can think differently about marketing. How can they connect with you? Where do you think they should start if they're interested in finding out more about your company and what you offer?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I am most of the time on my website doing our blogging and email marketing. That's our main content strategy. So you can read our blogs, you can sign up for the Mindful Marketer, and you'll hear from me every Monday in your inbox. And then I also am on Instagram and LinkedIn. We can give you the links for that. Instagram is virtuwell.balance, and then we can give you my LinkedIn
Great.
link as well. But yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to connect with some of you. If you're listening to this and you do want to reach out, and mention that you heard me on here with Cindy. I would love that.
Oh, and I would love that too. Yes. I hope we definitely bring some people to VirtuWell Balance. That's amazing. And you know, even if you're not planning to work with Shayah immediately, check it out because what you're going to see is what she described, the consistency across the different platforms from blogging to the website to the social media to the LinkedIn. Like, I really encourage you to check it out and you're going to see what she described. And so I'm really excited about it. I hope everyone takes a look and maybe you could come into my Facebook group and we'll have a video demonstration. How does that sound?
Sure. Yes, that would be fun. We'll have to do that soon.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Cindy. Bye, everyone.